Oh, hello, Jerk. I see you found part 2. You see, in this video, our hero explains how he began using drugs. Do please be sure to watch part 1 before continuing. Now that you've fallen into my evil plan, without further ado, let us continue the saga. I need my vape.
When last we left our hero.
Should really see a urologist. Jesus, you raised in a barn? There you go. It's much better. God, disgusting.
Hello, I'm Jery of Old Thread.
There's my crappy trailer. Out to get some stuff. Anyway, so about 10 years ago now. Hi, welcome to Mackwest Midgit Cleaning. My name's Rick. I'm gonna vacuum this floor. About 10 years ago now, I was with this woman for many years. She had 2 kids when we got together, and I had my oldest daughter. And we had our ups and downs, toxic relationship, blah, blah, blah. My mental health was not great at the time, and I recognized I was not doing anything for it. I wasn't seeing any counselors. I wasn't doing any actual work on myself. Life had pretty much gone to shit. Our relationship was falling apart. My relationship with our kids was not good. I was struggling with my suicidal ideation and other stuff that I now know to be bipolar disorder and pretty sure autistic spectrum disorder too. And what I'm doing in the video here, by the way, is moistening where the drywall, mud, and tape were the heaviest, so I could go in and scrape them down just to kind of stay on track with the video stuff here. Squirt the camera. But yeah, if you moisten, if you ever have to do anything like this with drywall, or if you're taking down texture or something like that, just get a spray bottle and some water and spray the surface, let it sit for a little while, and come back with a scraper, and that crap will come right off. And don't forget to wash your camera too. Spritzy McGitsy. That happened. Vacuum attachment to collect dust. Guess what? It works great, as you'll see here. Was that more oppression? Keep your eyes out for Easter eggs. Oh, look, he dropped the thing. It fell apart on him. What a dingus. So anyway, relationship was falling apart with the old lady and the kids. And I was at work one night. I'd already had a plan in place. I was going to not be around anymore after that weekend. And I'd been working like double and triple shifts at this gas station I was working at. A coworker of mine always had a little pep in their step, and I asked one night, like, hey, I'm about to just die here, figuratively and literally. Do you have anything that can kind of get me through? Back then, I wasn't really interested in sobriety or recovery. I'd smoked weed for a number of years. I quit smoking weed, and then my alcoholism really picked up. That's pretty much all I did. I'd, experimented with a few hard drugs before, but that was the most of it. I was expecting some kind of speed, stimulants, coke, whatever. She hands me something out of her bag and tells me to take it to the bathroom. So I go in there and I look down and I'm like, holy shit, this is meth. And I stared at it for a minute, and my command centers in my brain said, you know what? What's it matter? We're not going to be here after a few days. Might as well see what all the fuss is about. And down the hatch she went. And what do you know? There's something about a drug that releases unnatural levels of dopamine in your brain that will turn all your bad feelings into good ones. And suddenly you'll have a lust for life that just can't be matched. I tell you. Whoo! what that crystal methamphetamine will do for it's terrible. It's hell. Once it gets its claws into you, there is almost no stopping. A very small percentage of meth users actually recover. And the ones who do often relapse at least a few times before they find recovery. What is he doing now? Do we...
Good morning.
Do you still hear them, Clairice? The lambs?
This is what you're following. This is what you came here to see. Do you understand? This is a reflection of your own interests. All right, the algorithm sees all, it knows all, it provides. It gives us what we want before we know we need it. And it showed you this. Look at that. Just a dad bod loser dancing his way around a job site in the middle of the night when he should be home in bed. So, that's how I ended up trying fucking meth for the first time. And I got a lot of positive reinforcement from friends and customers at the store because everybody kept telling me that they noticed a big change in me and whatever I was doing, keep it up because it was working. They could tell I was really depressed and they were worried they were going to lose me there for a while, but things seem to be looking up. So glad everything's better in your life. And I'm not making excuses. I'm not saying, and that's why I kept getting high. I'm saying, like, when you're already going through trying this drug for the first time that makes you feel better than you're humanly possibly supposed to even be able to feel, going from like one of the lowest depressions of your life to like, you know what, fuck yeah, life is great and I'm awesome as shit. There's a lot of confusion that comes along with that because, for me anyways, my first impression was like, I don't understand why this is such a bad thing. Granted, I didn't see what the long-term effects were going to do to me yet. I'd seen, tweakers around before, and what we normally think of when you think of a long-time meth user, the sunken-in face, the zombie-like countenance, the blemishes, the tooth problems and all that. But by the way, I lost my teeth when I was a kid because of genetic shit. I lost teeth long before I ever even did drugs. When I was like 16, they pulled them all. Now everyone's just going to be staring at my mouth. Jeez Louise, Papa Cheese. But it's confusing because for me, it was like, oh my God, I found the cure for suicidal ideation. I didn't know that was going to end up being probably the biggest curse the drug put on me, because now anytime I'm in a place where I could do it, when that peace settles over you and you've come to terms with the thought of no longer existing. It's a very dark and scary place once it gets peaceful for people like us. And I now have to live with the knowledge of knowing that there is an eject button from that pit of despair. I'm not trying to like glamorize in any way. Trust me, we can talk more about it later, I think, but it is living hell. Addiction is. Like, it's not worth it at all. We've gone off track a bit, I think, but some points needed to be made. So, long story short, I get in trouble a few times for DUIs and possession, and I realize I've got to change my act, and I try cleaning up, much like I'm cleaning up in this video, but I couldn't. And inevitably, I was too afraid to go to rehab. I don't know why. I'd heard horror stories in jail of like how rehab was the place to go to get drugs around here, and it's crazy shit happening there. And I was like, I had it in my head that I could beat it on my own, but I clearly couldn't because I just kept using until I eventually ended up going to prison for a year. But during that time, I was completely miserable with every aspect of my life. But, I wasn't seeing my kids. I wasn't with my ex anymore, obviously. And so I needed to fill that time as much as possible. And so I created the business. It started out with me just helping people out for free, just as something to do. I worked at a gas station and knew pretty much everybody in the county. And I'd hear all the time about how, the dryer wasn't working, or this was messed up in their house, or that needed fixed. And like I've learned, being a first-time homeowner with no budget for home repairs, like how to fix a lot of things myself through YouTube or helping friends out, just having guys show me what to do or figuring it out on my own. So I started helping people, and eventually they started paying me. And they told me I needed to come up with a name for my business. You ready for this? There's the origin story. The ex that I was living with when I started using, we both worked crazy hours. I had 3 jobs at one point. I worked as an assistant manager at the gas station. I was maintenance and housekeeping at a nursing home, and I was also maintenance at a hotel in town. So no social life. It was work, home, kids, work, home, kids. And I didn't have time to see my friends anymore. Occasionally I go play a show, maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and that was my social life. The rest of the time was just home with the kids or working. And there was this old guy that lived across the street from us named Junior. And he was retired, disabled. He had a bunch of heart problems. He had like 1,000,000 freaking heart attacks and strokes. He cut wood in his free time and sold it as firewood for extra income. He knew how to do a little bit of everything, and I was figuring out how to do a little bit of everything else. We were cordial, we waved at each other, hey neighbor, that kind of thing. Well, eventually he'd see me outside working on my car, so he'd come over and offer to help me, and then we'd work on it together and joke around. If I saw him outside, I'd offer to go help him, and we'd joke around a bit. Eventually we got to be pretty good buddies. It's like 80-year-old dude and 27-year-old me for a couple years. I used to love making him laugh. He'd repeat himself a lot. Something about the strokes. He'd say, I'd tell him, Junior, you know how to do just about everything, don't you? He'd go, yep, jack of all trades, master of none. I'm jack of all trades, master of none. Jack of all trades, master of none. Like he was a skipping CD or something. I figured out pretty quick that some of his medications made him extra flatulent. And anytime he would cough or laugh, he'd fart. But he was modest enough, he'd get super embarrassed by it. So naturally, I would go out of my way to make him laugh as hard and often as possible, to get him farting, to make him embarrassed, to make him laugh more, and the cycle goes on. In retrospect, I probably put the man's life in grave danger multiple times, but it was worth it. I shouldn't say that because reasons. But anyway, I figured out his favorite joke of mine was he'd get on his, but he gets to laughing and, damn it, Ricky, you're a jerk. You're a jerk, Ricky. So I said this stupid line one time, and he just lost his shit. He's doing his jack of all trades, master of none, jack of all trades, master of none. I said, well, Junior, if you're the jack of all trades, I guess I'm the jerk of all trades. And he just, oh, Ricky, that's funnier than hell. Damn it, you son of a bitch. So he'd joke and call me the jerk of all trades sometimes. And then actually one of the big triggers that led up to the night we were talking about where I used the first time, that week, I was used to seeing the ambulance over at his house. Our bedroom window faced the street, and he lived directly across the street from us. And it seemed like once a month we'd see the red and white lights. They'd be over there, and we'd think, oh, Junior must have had a mini stroke or a mini heart attack again, because he had them all the time. They'd come check on him. He'd take his meds, and they'd leave him home and take off. And I saw the ambulance one night. It was there for a very long time. Very long time. And the next day I was at work, and his girlfriend came in to tell me that he'd passed away. He was one of my best friends at that time in my life. And I still miss him. But I was sitting there. It was during the first window of me trying to quit. I was probably 6 months into using at that point, when someone told me I needed to come up with a name for the business so I could put it on Facebook and get more customers that way. And I was sitting there and I was like, Rick's Fix It, or Handyman Can, blah, 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 you know, dumb name ideas. Then I heard Junior's voice, like a fart in the wind. You're a jerk, Ricky. And I thought, that's it. Jerk of all trades. There was already a jerk of all trades in Jersey, I think it was. I did a Google and Facebook search for the jerk of all trades. I found one guy that was using that name. I was like, shit. I always try to make sure it's not already taken. That way it's unique and easy to find. So I threw Rick's on the front of it. Rick's Jerk of All Trades was born. People ask me all the time, like, why do you call yourself the jerk? You seem like a pretty nice guy. Well, most people say that. Some people think I'm an asshole, and they're right. I get asked a lot where the name came from. There you go. It's in honor of my buddy Junior. So, what happened next? You're going to have to tune in next week to find out when we'll be, I think, mudding the drywall that we cleaned up today. That's not bad for me. This is like 3 videos in a week. I might actually get ahead like I want to. I said get ahead. Filthy, you're filthy. You're nasty. And you know what? If nobody else told you today, me and baby Larry are going to tell you, you're doing a good job. Fucking love you, bye.
Good job, Daddy.
Thank you, baby.